Welcome to the Black and Green podcast. It's your go-to place to find the latest high-quality, all-natural products created by Black artisans. Hosted by yours truly, Dr. Kristen H., the founder of Black and Green. We'll discuss all things health, wellness, self-care, and of course, self-love. This podcast features a refreshing lineup of guests, from entrepreneurs and artisans to holistic lifestylists and clean beauty experts, and a plethora of other innovators within the wellness industry. Join me as we learn from the best of the best.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Black and Green podcast. I'm so excited to have you here with us today. As you guys know, I love talking to our artisans. At the end of the day, this is why I do what I do. Hearing the stories of Black women, why they create what they create, it gives me so much joy. And I'm so happy that you guys have chosen to be in the conversation with us to hear another story. So I'm so happy today we're going to be joined with Diara from Yawoni. Did I say that right?
Yes, you got it.
Awesome. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Diara Chukuigwe, and I'm the founder of Yawoni. I was born in Mali, West Africa, but I was raised in Paris, France. And I've been living in the US, precisely in New York, for the past 16 years. And I launched Yawoni in 2021. And so I'm excited to have this conversation with you today, Christian. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. So tell me, what drove you to want to launch Yawoni?
So this is something that I've kind of always wanted to do. I've always been interested in the beauty industry. Growing up, my mom, my grandmother were very into natural remedies and oils and shea butters and all kinds of natural ingredients that we would import from my home country, from Mali. So I was always interested in these simple but natural rituals that were from my country. And I always felt like I was sort of an outsider of the beauty industry, so I never thought that I could. So it's something that was always in the back of my mind, but I never thought that I could actually do it. And so I've never actually went for it. I had a traditional, background where I went to school, I studied advertising, I worked in advertising for a while, in marketing. I did even a career change to software engineering and product management. But when the pandemic happened, I had, loss in my family, and I went through a period of sort of depression. I was also having hormonal issues and difficulty conceiving. I suffered 2 losses, and that at that moment, I felt like, I needed to go back to these soothing rituals and natural products. I was looking at what I was putting on my skin, what I was eating, because I was trying to get my body to be more healthy, my mind as well. And so that's when I started talking to my mom and telling her, hey, I need these, shea butters that we brought from Mali. And, I started really building more of that connection with my country that I felt like I had kind of lost after moving here and living here for so long. So
why do you think you lost it?
I don't know. I think that, sometimes when you get caught up in the things that you feel like society wants you to do, and it's just career and everything else, but then, when the world stopped and we were confined, it's just okay, the thing that really mattered started becoming more real, family and connection and your roots and your sense of being, not your job or, all these other things that, you tend to chase. But then it's health all of a sudden for everybody was the most important thing. So for me, it was really the catapult that, made me launch my brand, because I had both a desire of like, really using more natural product, less toxic ingredients, but also I wanted to reconnect with my roots. So actually, in 2020, just before the country shut down, I traveled to Mali, and before then, I was kind of like depressed and not doing well mentally, and that trip really like opened my mind and like really made me reconnect with what I felt like I was missing all this time that I wasn't even realizing, which was this connection with my family and my country, my birth country. And I felt so good coming back from that trip that I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna go after this thing that I've always wanted to do, which is launch my own brand. And obviously the world shut down, so it was very challenging after to actually do it. But I was really determined, like, because I really felt like I needed to share my story and also share where I'm from and the good things that we do have. I mean, people are familiar with, but it's just like I wanted to put my imprint on the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it seems like starting your brand was definitely a personal journey for you. Like you feeling like you're coming back to your roots, coming back to yourself. And so it seems like it's been a fantastic watching that happen for you and how it felt to you emotionally. But now, as you have launched your brand, what's your big dream of the brand? Was making it enough, or do you want it to be more than just made?
I definitely want it to be more than just me. I have a vision, and I want this to be a legacy, something that I pass down to my children. I'm actually expecting a daughter right now, and it's like really important for me to.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And do anytime now. And when I envision this brand, I'm like, even during the challenging time, I'm like, this is bigger than me. I'm doing this for the future. I'm doing this for the legacy. I'm doing this, I want to expand into, different product categories and make it go as far as it can. Like I always try to also, my dream and my vision is to also have this two-way communication with Mali, where I empower the people back home, because, I sourced some of my ingredients from back then. And, when I first launched, I worked with my cousin. We were back home who didn't necessarily have a job, who were mothers themselves. And, like I know their situations are so different. And, I'm here and I'm blessed to have opportunities that they don't have, in terms of like, providing for a lifestyle for themselves. They depend on men when they get married, and some of them, if things don't work out, are just left to fend for themselves. And I just want to create like a path for women back home to become more independent and have something of their own. To really, like, they say that women are the answer for the future, because we raise children and hopefully change things and improve education and give them pathways for careers and entrepreneurship and things like that.
Yeah. So when did you launch the brand?
When? In March of 2021. So it's been a year and a half.
Right around the time when you conceived your daughter too, right?
No. So I had multiple pregnancies, but I had 2 miscarriages before. And my daughter was conceived this year, and it was kind of almost a surprise, because at some point, I had kind of like, I needed a break, and I just needed to focus on like the business kind of almost. I know it sounds silly what I'm about to say, but it's like launching my business last year kind of almost saved me, because that's also when I suffered losses after launching the business, and it gave me this escape, and this, like, it was kind of almost my baby in a way. So I give it the love and the time and attention, and it helped me in a way heal, and I don't know if I would call it a distraction, but it was something that was mine, that I focused all my attention into, and that I really put intention and like my personhood into. So it was a very personal. It was definitely more than just business. It was something that I could put my soul into and share with the world, and not focus on loss, but just on creating, if that made sense.
Yeah, it does. Do you think that in the process of you creating your brand, the same love and kind of care and momhood you were putting into it, that you also transition to your products? So that way when people use your products, that same kind of love and intention is in the products when we're using it.
Right. So, I mean, that's definitely in the essence of the brand. So, just to give you the full story, Yawoni means be, beloved. So, in my grandmother's native language, Ya is a short for my mother's name, which is Kadidia, but then Woni means beloved, right? And it became this nickname that she is still called to this day. And every day hearing beloved, like you are loved, you are this person that is grand. Like, I'm carrying like the story of these women who kept reinforcing the love that they have for their children. And the products, in a way, I launched with the body butter and an oil, a face oil that you can use, in a sort of multi-purpose fashion. And that was kind of intentional because, for me, like, a body butter is a moment that, it's like you apply it, you caressing your skin. It's usually after a shower, and it's a moment that you take for yourself to hydrate, but it's really just also a moment where that is like a self-care moment. And it is, so that was important for me to start with that kind of product, because it's something that we all need, like taking in a moment for yourself. And I don't know, if you're in the shower and you come out and you applying this thing, it's like almost this sensual moment that makes you feel good, and then that goes even into the smell of the products. I didn't want to use artificial fragrances, but they have like essential oils and a very light scent that's just enough to make you feel good, and transport you in, like, almost like a healing moment.
Yes. I love that. So now we're going to take time for a meditation. All right. Now that we're back, the question that keeps sticking with me is, what are the products that you created, and how do you feel like it's connected in some way to your ancestor, to your family, until it's like back to the specific products that you created that were connected in that way?
What are the products that I created that are connected to my ancestors?
Yes.
Well, for example, the body butter has shea butter, mango butter, cocoa butter. These are like the staples of products we've used for thousands of years that we still use. Right now, I was talking to my mom, and she's coming this Friday to be here for the birth of my daughter. And she's planning on bringing more shea butter from Mali, even though I have so much. But, it's really this tradition, like from when the baby is born, the grandmother gives the first bath. That's a tradition. And oils the baby from like head to toe with just pure shea butter. And then usually that's a shea butter that's made by hand. by the women in the family, sometimes the great grandmother or great grand aunt. It's made in the village and they import it. It's like it's really
This
um,
moment.
this moment. It's like such a part of a tradition that it is beyond skincare. It's like a ritual, or like a healing ritual for the baby, for the skin, like giving them that massage. It's really a full massage, like a full body massage. It can be very like intimidated when you even first see it from the first time, but they really take the time to massage all the parts of the baby, and that helps them sleep much better. That helps them like have like flexibility or like stronger muscles and things like that. And I'm really excited to incorporate these ingredients into the products at a high concentration. But my goal was to also make it that the products are like absorbed quicker, or because realistically shea butter is not something you can use on a daily basis on your skin,
Right.
without having that greasy feeling. So I worked with a lab here to like maintain that integrity, use these ingredients in a high concentration, the purity and everything, but still have like that high absorbency. So that was a very challenging. I know it sounds simple, but it's not easy to do, like without adding artificial ingredients and these ingredients that make that happen.
Yes,
on an artificial level. So like sometimes you have to, and you have to compromise. And I didn't want to compromise on the quality. I didn't want to compromise on the quality of the ingredients, but also have to include synthetics to create a different feel.
Now we will pause for a moment of meditation with Dr. Crystal Jones.
So wherever you are right now, just take a moment to be. Be in your awareness, be in your truth, be in your wholeness. Allow yourself to show up as light, dark, and every shade of gray in between. Feeling your presence, experiencing your truth. Finding your breath. And instead of directing her, listen to her. Ask her where she wants to spend more time, and spend more time there. Ask her where she's stuck, and go into the experience of why. Be in this breath, be in this movement, and continue to cultivate this experience through the rest of your day. Honoring that your truth and whatever you show up as is always enough. You are perfection and excellence personified. Anything that tells you that you're anything else no longer serves you.
So I know one question that is popping out to me is that how are you balancing your self-care after dealing with a loss that you dealt with? How did you remain and kind of hold on to the you? What are the things that you're doing to make sure that you're taking care of yourself?
Right. So, well, first, therapy is something that really helped me. I mean, it's something I would recommend anyone who can to have, because finding the right therapist also would be an advice. But then also creating simple daily rituals that you just do, can be hard when you're struggling.
What are some of yours?
Some of mine is like a bath. even now, like, taking a bath, like, just resets me. And, most of the times I don't have time. I'm taking showers. I'm so busy with so many things. But like, when I need it and I'm like at that point, a bath just really helps. Like, having candles, putting oils in the bath and just really taking that moment with music. It just stops everything in the world and just like be in this moment.
Yeah, I love my bathtub, but I have to admit that sometimes I don't want to clean the bathtub, so maybe I just take
I know that's the same. Well, I've been lucky because since I've been pregnant, since I can't really do it, my husband is like, I'm like, oh, I would love to take it back. He's like, oh, okay, I'll clean the bathtub for you. So I'm really taking advantage of this time period right now. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, so that's one. Just like being in tune with nature too. I live in New York City, so it's not always easy to just be in nature. And what I mean by nature is like really being around trees and not seeing buildings and things like that. Like, so just, I don't know, going to a park sometimes will just help, if like you have to, but then taking like a weekend out to just go in the mountain or just, even an hour away can just really make a huge difference. Yeah, and then just like, like comfort food, the things that sometimes like I'm a huge foodie and having certain food sometimes just like makes me happy and feeds my soul. So
I'm a foodie too.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. It's so important to make sure that you're always taking care of yourself. But I think it's beautiful that when you're creating a brand, you're giving away a piece of yourself in a way that I don't know if we typically understand. When you're getting a product that a shipper, a big factory is making, it's different than a product that's made by a Black woman.
Right, definitely. And, also creating something and then having people actually buy that thing and see into your vision and give you that feedback, or, when they tell you, oh, I'm using this product and I love it for this reason, and keep coming back and asking for more. It's a feeling I can't describe because it's, you create something out of nothing.
Yes.
You create the brand, you create the products, the ingredients you want, the packaging, everything is like it came out of a vision in your head and it now exists, and then you put it out in the universe and people interact with it. It's really something I can't describe, and I wish anyone could experience because it really makes you want to keep going and just like keep expanding and keep. Because I'm not going to act like entrepreneurship is easy. Any person who has tried or who has a brand or who's trying to do something will tell you it has its challenges and times where it's hard, where you feel like giving up, or things don't go as you plan, or there's something that happened unforeseen. Like recently, I had a leak in our business storage, and a lot of the packaging for a new product that we were supposed to launch very soon has been damaged, and it's so discouraging. It's like you have these things that happen that are beyond your control that sometimes you feel like, oh, what am I doing? But then you get a customer that tells you, oh my God, I love this, and I'm never gonna not buy this product anymore, and you're like, oh, okay. I must keep going.
Exactly. You get the motivation right when you're ready to let go sometimes. And I think it's a beautiful practice to learn to let go of the things that are outside of your control, but also recognizing that things that are outside of your control will come to try to deter you all the time. But you have to kind of have this faith to keep pushing even when things outside of your control try to stop you. So how do you think you found that courage to keep pushing even when things outside of your control are trying to stop you? So why, when the package was damaged from a leak, why didn't you just say, okay, we're done? It's like, what kind of kept you? Was it getting the positive from the customer who said that she liked your project? Is that what kind of pushed you to keep going?
Customers, people loving the brand is one part, but I also think it's because, like I said, to you earlier, like this is my legacy. It's bigger than me. I use my mom's name, but I could not go to her and say, hey, I'm giving up on this. It's like, it would almost feel like I'm giving up on her, or or my family history. I don't know. This is and I knew that when I was starting the brand, that if I used that name in a way, it would force me to never give up on it. It's like, you don't give up on your child. Things are challenging, you keep going, things happen. It's just, I truly feel like this is my baby, and I cannot stop. It will be challenging. I may have days where I'm like, okay, you know what, maybe I need to take a break, because any business woman will tell you work pretty much every day. It's like every day there's something to do, so you have to force yourself to give yourself a schedule and take these breaks, because that's what keeps you going. You cannot burn out, because you're the person who's the visionary behind the brand. You if you burn out, then who so you have to, it's not like it's a 9 to 5. You have to give yourself like these times where, like, allow yourself to take rest. And because it's not a race, it's a marathon, so you have to be able to keep going. So whatever you need to be able to do that, if it's taking a whole full break for even a week, and a vacation away, like, you'll be surprised, but I have a lot of entrepreneur friends, and they tell me they haven't taken a vacation in I don't know how many years. If you were working for someone else, you wouldn't do that, obviously. So I can understand how sometimes you can get burned out.
Yes.
Especially when it doesn't feel like work, and it feels like this is my thing. I love it, and I love, serving these people and creating these products and interacting with my customers, and so it feels less like work, but because it's your business, so you're tempted to work on it 24/7, and it's just not sustainable, So really, it's just really taking the breaks and the giving yourself the boundaries you need to keep the marathon going long term.
Has that been a challenge for you, to take the breaks, or is there another challenge that you need to, but it's hard for you to do it sometimes? Sometimes I feel like that. Like, I know I need to take a break, but it's hard for me to put my computer down.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely it's hard to take a break. One other thing that I'd say is hard is just, the financing part of things, because sometimes it's like, no matter how big you grow, you always have new challenges. You always have challenging funding the next stage, or how to reinvest in the business, but also allowing yourself like room for growth, like where to allocate funds, what there's no blueprint really. I mean, you could read a lot online and read podcasts, but it's like, it's a lot of learning by doing. And that includes mistakes as well. Like, you learn from mistakes you make, and you're like, okay, well, next time I won't do that, or this didn't work. But it's just like, you have to keep trying new things. You have to keep adapting to the market, adapting to the new rules of advertising, marketing, all these things, platforms. It's definitely it's not easy, and this is probably also why many people give up. But
Mhm.
I would say, like, it's just a matter of okay, if this thing is not working, what else can I do? Maybe trying tweaking things. I'm always experimenting. Basically, this is for me a big experimentation project. Really.
Absolutely. You mentioned 9 to 5 earlier. Do you have a 9 to 5? And is this your side hustle, or are you spending all your time building your business?
Actually, not anymore. I'm working full time now on the business, which I'm also planning on taking a maternity leave, which is, I don't know how that's going to work because, as you know, I was just saying I'm the main fire behind the business. So taking the leave now, the timing is not so great, but I'm trying to put things in place so that I can really have time to bond with my baby and be more hands off, even if I have to be in the background, but not on a day to day. But I was full time until the end of August.
Okay, awesome.
I was working a 9 to 5.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
How was that balance? How was it trying to work a 9 to 5 and also build your business? Are you happy that you're focusing on your business and your child, or is it a piece of you kind of still wishes that you could have the 9 to 5?
Well, it's a scary move and jump to not have to be completely reliant on your own efforts for getting income. But I'm happy. I'm happy because this is what I've wanted, and I'm happy and grateful that I got to that stage. I also feel less of a burden because I'm lucky to have a partner that also is there to support. It's not just me. So I'm just excited for this next stage.
Yes.
I'm really excited to see what I can, because I know it's been extremely challenging working a full-time job and then having a business on the side. And while growing a human this year, it was just something like I had a very challenging pregnancy. I was extremely sick. And so it was definitely super challenging. So I'm happy that I get to, have more focus now and have less of my time like spread in all kinds of different directions. And, it's also allowing me to really bet on myself and bet on this thing that I've created and see where it could truly go when my full-time and undivided attention is given to it.
Yes. I like how you focus on focus. I think that we're oftentimes women who also have children and have partners and have all these things are often getting pulled in millions of directions. But I think it's a beauty in finding focus and just trying to focus on one thing, give it all of your power and your attention. So I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, and then not everyone is lucky enough to be able to do that. I totally understand that for a long time, some people may have to juggle different situations to be able to pursue their dream. So I'm really grateful and blessed and feel extremely happy that I'm finally able to give my business my full attention. So
absolutely. Is there anything else, any kind of last saying or last thing you want to say to our listeners?
I would say that I'm really happy and grateful for Black and Green's audience because they recognize the need for supporting Black women entrepreneur and healthier alternatives to products, like common products that we use. I don't know if you've read recently the study about the chemicals and the link to uterine cancer for Black women. Which is not, I mean, it's now running around social media and publications, but it's something I've always known that.
Like I've been saying this since 2017 when I started Black and Green.
Exactly. So
they're connected to so many things that we just don't know about.
Right. And I don't feel like that information was completely hidden because, I've always read many articles about Black women being exposed to more harmful chemicals in the products that we use and things of that sort. But it's just like, feel like some people read it and are like, oh, okay, well, and don't take it so seriously. So sometimes it helps that these studies come out and, get more attention, because any one person that we can get to understand that, hey,
exactly,
there are better alternatives, and, there are platforms like Black and Green where you can know that you can shop, and use safe products on.
Absolutely.
So I'm really glad that platforms like that exist and more recognition and attention is given to this problem. Because I definitely felt like my grandmother, for example, died of ovarian cancer. It's something like, I've known so many of my family that have had breast cancer or different types of cancers. And, you start wondering, hey, what's going on there? So I'm just grateful. I just want to say thank you for seeing us. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for shopping on platforms for like Black and Green.
Oh, yes. And thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting us. Without you, there will not be a Black and Green. And so thank you for joining me on the podcast today. This has been a great one.
All right. Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Black and Green podcast. Did you have more questions for our special guest? Please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, check us out at blkgrn.com. Please subscribe and comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, buy Black and live green.